Hey guys, what's going on? James here. In this video today, we're going to be talking about Tampa Bay Buccaneers edge rusher Shaq Barrett and whether or not the Bucs should bring him back in the 2025 offseason. Shaq Barrett is 32 years old. He's a two-time Super Bowl champ, two-time Pro Bowler, actually came out of retirement originally with the Miami Dolphins this past offseason. Then the Miami Dolphins released him and he rejoined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's great, right? The Bucs had to release Shaq Barrett last offseason because he was an unfortunate cap casualty. He did sign with the Miami Dolphins, never played a snap for them. As I said, he retired before the season started, the 2024 season. Eventually, towards the end of the 2024 season, Shaq Barrett said, hey, I want to come back and play. The Miami Dolphins said, well, you're not playing for us, and we're not giving up your rights either, so I guess you're just not playing this upcoming season. But eventually, the Dolphins did relent. They did release Shaq Barrett's rights, and he did go back to the Buccaneers, which is great. It obviously shows that Barrett and the Bucs have a mutual respect and love for one another. Makes sense. Barrett has been in Tampa Bay for 6 seasons now, has amassed 45 sacks during his time in Tampa Bay, has played in 71 games, started 70 games, and of course he holds the franchise record for most sacks in a single season by a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. But it's also important to know where Shaq Barrett is at in his career at this point. Right? From 2022 to 2024, this current season, he has amassed only 7.5 sacks, playing in 25 games, starting 24. He had a really bad Achilles injury in that 2022 season as well. Now, he's still been able to make some plays. I mean, 4 forced fumbles, 1 interception, which was returned for a touchdown, by the way. So Barrett has still been able to make some plays here or there, right? I'm going to say this. I think it is possible that Shaq Barrett does come back if expectations are set appropriately. I think it's good now that the Bucs and Barrett have moved on from that big contract that was kind of there, and they're able to kind of reset their negotiations and whatnot. Barrett had also said that whenever he was coming out of retirement, it wasn't just to come back for the remainder of the 2024 season. He wanted to play beyond the 2024 season. And Barrett has always expressed that, like, hey, the only place he wants to play is in Tampa Bay, right? And I could very well see the Bucs saying, you know what, Shaq, we will bring you back on some maybe veteran minimum type of deal, and you can finish your career up here in Tampa Bay, right? But it is important to note that Barrett probably or shouldn't be your number, a starting edge rusher going forward, right? Nor should he be we've got our edge, our veteran edge rusher, it's Shaq Barrett. No, I don't think that should be the case either. If Barrett is like your 4th option, maybe at like maximum 3rd option, I think that that's okay. I think that that's fine. But Barrett shouldn't be your number 2 or your number 1 option, right? And it hurts to say that because I love Shaq Barrett. I think he is a great guy to have in your locker room. And that's another reason to bring him back, right? Is what he can offer in terms of coaching up guys like Yaya Diaby, Chris Braswell, maybe another edge rusher that they may draft somewhere along the line like that. That's a good thing to see, right? I was going to throw Jose Ramirez and Marquise Watts in that mix as well. Like, it's just good to have a guy like Shaq Barrett in your locker room, right? But the time has passed to where you can rely on Barrett as a starting caliber player. Okay. I do think the Buccaneers should still go into this offseason and add a number 1 edge rusher in free agency, be it a Josh Sweat or a Hassan Reddick or whoever it may be, and still probably draft another edge rusher in there as well. Does bringing back Shaq Barrett mean you move on maybe from a guy like Anthony Nelson? Of course, I still believe they're moving on from Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. That's a possibility, right? I think also the presence of a guy like Braswell may also mean that Anthony Nelson may be a bit expendable in that mix as well. The point being is this. I would be happy if Barrett was brought back to the Bucs if the circumstances make sense. Okay? If he is like your number 3 or number 4 pass rusher, um, and you are bringing in like a Josh Sweat or a Hassan Reddick as your number 1 and then drafting someone else as well, or maybe you just bring in a Sweat or a Hassan Reddick and your 4 pass rushers are, you know, insert top number 1 free agent option here, right? Sweat or Reddick. Yaya Diaby is your number 2. Shaq Barrett or Chris Braswell is your number 3. And then Shaq Barrett or Chris Braswell is your number 4, right? Or you can also go with Sweat or Hassan Reddick is your number 1. Yaya Diaby is your number 2. Maybe a first round edge rusher is your number 3. Braswell is your number 4. Maybe Shaq Barrett is your number 5. I don't know. But the Buccaneers do need to bring in new faces in their pass rush, right? Now, I still think bringing Barrett back does have value. It does. But it's not going to be as much of like the production value that would be needed in terms of a starting caliber type guy. But if you want to bring him back as a veteran backup, I would not be opposed to that at all. I would not be opposed to that at all, I should say. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this down in the comments section below. Would you bring back Shaq Barrett? Let me know. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.